In the vast expanse of Norse mythology, fate is a force that neither man nor god can escape. Beneath the shadow of the mighty world tree, Yggdrasil, where its ancient roots reach into the very fabric of the 9 realms, 3 enigmatic sisters preside over the destinies of all beings. They are the Norns, mysterious weavers of fate, whose prophecies spell the rise and fall of gods and mortals alike. Their words are final, their threads unbreakable, and even Odin, the all-seeing king of the gods, trembles before the future they foretell. Let us journey to the base of Yggdrasil, where the well of Erd glistens with secrets of the ages. Here dwell the Norns, Erdhun, who embodies the past, every choice, every shadow that lingers behind us. Verdandi, the present, fluid, alive, ever unfolding. And Skuld, the most fearsome of all, who holds the future in her grasp, a future that cannot be bargained with or denied. Each day, the sisters gather at the well, their hands deftly weaving the golden and dark threads of destiny into a tapestry that encompasses all living things. Unlike the gods of Asgard or Vanaheim, the Aesir and the Vanir, the Norns are not bound by allegiance or blood. They are more ancient, more powerful, existing outside the petty rivalries and ambitions of the divine. Their purpose is singular and immutable, to measure and shape the fates of gods, giants, and humans alike. Every birth, every death, every triumph and tragedy is spun at their loom, and the gods themselves are but threads in their hands. The Norns answer to no one. Not even Odin can alter the pattern they have woven. His power, though immense, is dwarfed by the inevitability of fate. Odin, the Allfather, is unmatched in his thirst for wisdom. Across the 9 realms, none crave knowledge as he does. Yet, for all his might and sacrifice, there is one thing Odin fears above all: the relentless march of destiny as revealed by the Norns. To unravel the secrets of the cosmos, Odin paid a terrible price. At the Well of Mimir, he sacrificed one of his own eyes for a draught of knowledge. He hung himself from Yggdrasil, pierced by his own spear, for 9 days and nights, surrendering himself to death and rebirth, all to learn the secrets of the runes. But every glimpse into the hidden workings of the universe pointed to a single, chilling prophecy. Ragnarok, the twilight of the gods, would one day come. The prophecies carved on ancient runestones are clear and merciless. They speak of the death of Baldur, the most beloved of Odin's sons. They foretell the betrayal of Loki, the trickster, who will turn against his brothers and lead the armies of chaos. They warn that Odin himself will fall, devoured by Fenrir, the monstrous wolf. And though Odin gathers knowledge, plots, and prepares, the knowledge itself is a curse, for the more he knows, the more he understands that the end cannot be avoided. The future, in the hands of the Norns, is fixed and absolute. Yet Odin does not give in to despair lightly. He searches for loopholes, for hope hidden in ambiguity. But the Norns' words bind him tighter than any chain. The true agony for Odin is not his own death, but the certainty that it must come, that all his efforts will ultimately change nothing. This is the burden of foresight, to see the storm coming and to know it cannot be diverted. The first harbinger of catastrophe arrives with the death of Baldur, the god of light. Baldur is cherished by gods and mortals alike, a radiant presence in Asgard. But when he begins to dream of his own death, the gods are seized by dread. Frigg, Baldur's mother, cannot bear the thought of losing her son. Driven by love and desperation, she travels through all the realms, extracting oaths from every creature and object that they will not harm Baldur. Fire, water, iron, stones, beasts, all swear to do him no injury. It seems, for a moment, that fate has been thwarted, but in her haste, Frigg overlooks one thing: the humble mistletoe, a plant so slight and unassuming that she deems it harmless. Loki, ever watchful for weakness, seizes upon this oversight. With cunning and malice, he fashions a dart from mistletoe and places it in the hands of Hödur, Baldur's blind brother. In a cruel game, guided by Loki's whispers, Hödur throws the dart. It pierces Baldur's heart, and the god of light falls, lifeless before the eyes of all Asgard. the grief is immeasurable, and the prophecy has begun to unfold. Baldur's death is the signal that Ragnarok is inexorably approaching, and the Norns' web tightens around the gods. Their desperate efforts to undo what has been done, to retrieve Baldur from Hel, the land of the dead, are in vain. Even their pleas and bargains cannot sway fate once it has been set in motion. In the aftermath of this tragedy, the gods turn their wrath upon Loki, the architect of their suffering. He is hunted, captured, and bound in a dark cavern deep beneath the earth. There, the gods lay a cruel punishment upon him. Loki is chained with the entrails of his own son, and a venomous serpent is fixed above him, its fangs dripping poison onto his face. Only Sigyn, Loki's loyal wife, offers him respite. She stands by his side, catching the venom in a bowl. But when she must empty the bowl, the drops that fall upon Loki's skin cause him to writhe in agony, and his writhing shakes the earth itself, giving rise to earthquakes. Yet this punishment does not end Loki's influence. If anything, it makes him more dangerous. The gods, in their fear and anger, have created an enemy who will bring about their doom. Loki's children suffer fates as terrible as his own. Fenrir, the wolf, is bound in magical chains, but his hatred only grows. Jormungandr, the world serpent, is cast into the seas, where he encircles Midgard, waiting. Hel, ruler of the dead, is consigned to the underworld, where she reigns over those who do not die in glory. The cycle of vengeance and retribution, as foretold by the Norns, cannot be broken. The Norns' prophecy resounds. From injustice springs vengeance, from vengeance springs destruction. With every action, the gods entangle themselves further in the web of fate. Their attempts to prevent disaster only hasten its arrival. At last, the final prophecy approaches. Ragnarok, the end of all things. It begins with Fimbul winter, a winter so harsh and unyielding that it lasts 3 years without respite. Snow buries the world, and the bonds of kinship and law dissolve in the cold. Brothers turn against brothers, and the world is consumed by chaos. Out of this darkness, the ultimate omens appear. The sun and moon are devoured by monstrous wolves. The stars vanish from the sky. The earth trembles, and the seas boil. Loki breaks free from his bonds, his rage unbound. He assembles the armies of chaos. Giants, monsters, and the dead march at his side. Heimdall, the ever-watchful guardian of the Bifrost, sounds the Gjallarhorn, calling all the realms to arms. On the fields of Vigrid, the last battle is joined. Odin leads the gods and the bravest of humanity against the forces of destruction. But the prophecy holds true. Odin faces Fenrir, the wolf he feared and tried to contain, and is slain. Thor, mightiest of the gods, defeats Jormungandr, but succumbs to its venom. Loki and Heimdall, once brothers in arms, destroy each other in mutual hate. Surtur, the fire giant, raises his flaming sword and sets the world ablaze. Fire and water consume all creation, and the old world falls into ruin. But even in this utter destruction, the Norns' weaving holds room for hope. From the ashes of the old world, a new world arises, green and fertile, washed clean by fire and flood. A few gods survive: Vidar, silent and strong, and Vali, born for vengeance, endure the flames. Baldur and Hödur return from the shadowy halls of Hel, their deaths redeemed by renewal. Upon the new earth, they rebuild, and the cycle of life and fate begins anew. Through it all, the Norns remain, seated by the well of Erd, their fingers ever moving, weaving new destinies from the remnants of the old. Their lesson endures. Fate is inexorable, and every action, every choice, is a thread in the great tapestry of destiny. In Norse myth, it is not weakness to confront fate, but the greatest courage of all. The gods do not shrink from their doom. They face it with valor, dignity, and resolve. So what can we learn from these tales of gods and prophecies, of doom foretold and destinies fulfilled? Perhaps it is this, that the measure of strength is not in escaping fate, but in how we meet it. The Norns remind us that every decision has consequences, that the future is shaped by what we do in the past and present. Destiny may be written, but honor, courage, and hope are forged in the hearts of those who choose to rise and fight, even when the outcome is known. In the ever-turning cycle of creation and destruction, the Norns continue their silent work. They sit by the well, weaving, watching as new stories are spun from old, as new heroes rise from the ashes of the fallen. The tapestry of fate is never complete. With each day, a new thread is added, and the story of the gods and of all living things goes on.